really is though. Would you kill a man for a Klondike bar?
I probably would. Yeah.
Or no? They're pretty good.
We're live.
Got him. No, I didn't. Ah,
Extended
it was
Family
a dinner,
Arcade, episode number 1.
right?
Welcome, Chris.
Welcome, Andrew.
The pit exit is clear.
Uh,
Push now.
stuck in hunting deer.
Oh yeah,
I'm
what are you
missing.
playing?
The long dart.
It's pretty scary.
Great. I have no ammo and there's a wolf up there. This is the way to start. This is amazing. Oh, anyway. That's cold. It's like Michigan right
How's Texas doing?
now. Yeah, it's running away from it. It's rainy, nasty.
It's ready up
Supposed to
here
hail
too.
tonight.
Damn. I haven't seen hail in forever.
You don't want to either. This is that good Texas size
Oh,
hail.
let's hope your power grid stays on. Oh, shit.
I'm on the same part of the grid as a hospital, so our power rarely goes out, which is pretty
Yeah.
nice.
You got like that emergency power that's you're just leeching off the hospital.
Yeah.
I don't know
Oh,
if you
like,
guys
seriously.
knew this, but if you live near a hospital, you get free electricity.
Nah, you still pay for it.
No, I
Thankfully,
know.
we didn't get that. People got some like nasty high bills from that winter storm.
From the
So it was like
storm?
yeah.
You'd
so
think
they
they'd be like, yeah, we fucked up. Your bill this month is free.
absolutely not. They did not.
Not in Texas.
No. So some people were paying like $2,000 to $3,000 bills or something like that when they didn't have power. For
Holy shit, $3,000? Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
I don't know what happened. I think it was like because it was some sort of co-opting thing or whatever. I forget how they worded it. It's something that we didn't have in Arizona, where it was some sort of plan, but it really backfired
Looks like
on
you're clear
everything
on
with
the pit
haywire
exit.
and then all the consumption problems. So I think it was basically the more they consumed, the lower the bill, something like that. I know we had summer and winter rates out there. But whatever.
We had like, I know the SRP had some weird thing where they would average your electricity bill out over the course of the year, so you only paid the same amount every year.
Right?
Which was nice.
Yeah,
when
it
Josiah
was-
and I were living together, it was like that.
Yeah, because you paid more during the winter when you were using glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
I was okay with that.
That was fine.
God, I
You better be okay
keep
with that. 'Cause
spinning
that
out the
is
same
the
corner.
only way to keep your bill down.
Right. Stream's not off to a good start with me spinning out all the time.
Well, Samir,
You're wrecking the car, Samir.
you're breaking the car, Samir. I wanna. Oh, of course, that's right. Because it put my. There we go. Put my buttons under the stream bar on the screen, so
Ah,
sometimes I
cool.
can't see what I'm doing. And flabby-tastic.
So what are you doing on your game?
Doing a little survival.
Yeah.
Trying to brave the harsh winter. I haven't played in a couple days. Do I have arrows? I have no arrows. Yeah, that's it. You just, try to
Do you
stay
have to like,
warm and dry.
do you have to like, so if you get hurt, do you have to repair yourself and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Kind of like Resident Evil style?
Yeah, but it's been a long time since I've played Resident Evil, so I don't really recall. But, here you have to, like, craft your bandages.
Oh,
And,
okay.
Yeah. You have to make them. There's some that you can get some moss and make bandages with that, and then that'll give you disinfectant power with it too. Like, because if you get attacked by a bear or a wolf, your bites get infected.
I feel like if you get attacked by a bear or even a wolf, you're pretty much dead.
Yeah, I think the infection is about the last of your worries in the real world. Which is why I always kind of laugh when people are like, well, I've been there. I need to start fire. Like, well, the world goes to hell. I'm going to go out there and survive. And I'm like, you're not going to make it too, bud.
Yeah.
There is no way.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Because I'm freezing to death, which is
So you're
ironic
essentially just
tie-in.
playing Revenant the game.
Basically. Yeah. Except it's Canada, so I mean, I'm not Leonardo.
You can pretend.
Yeah, I still think I should get an Oscar for this.
You should screen
But
cap
why not?
you playing this game and then send it to him and be like, well, where the fuck is my Oscar?
Yeah, right? How about that, Gilbert Grape? He's Arnie, but still. So,
I think if you said Arnie, people wouldn't. People would be like, what? The fuck is Arnie?
well, I think this is a perfect time for me to do a little bit of an intro. A little bit
Yeah.
of a fireside.
Mm-hmm.
A little fireside chat, if I
Yeah,
may.
set the ambiance. I like it.
So this is the first episode of the Extended Family Arcade, which is hosted by me, Chris Shellshot Shellberg, and also we have Andrew Exit Through the Gift Shop Bossy over there playing iRacing.
Hello.
And hello. So basically, the idea came about for this was we never talk on the phone. We've been close associates for about 12 years.
Sector 3 is
Well, we
0.9
never
off
talk on
the
the phone,
base.
but we will talk about all of these topics and things through video games. So we figured, why not go ahead and broadcast it to you, the viewer, and bring other people in on it with us. And so this time, there's actually some organization to our chaos as we talk about these topics, such as tonight we were going down the road of cryonics, cryogenics, and
Suspended animation.
That's right. And it's kind of fun because we have
Track's clear.
some buddies over at the Media Hijack that we watch their podcast as well, and always gets us thinking. So
Yeah, why don't we play some games and talk about some cool shit?
So that way, three birds, one stone, I would say, I guess.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So,
Streaming every
so-
Tuesday?
now we are streaming every Wednesday.
Oh shit. Wednesday.
You're
not
doing it
Tuesday.
again. See, you're doing it.
Fucking it up. I don't know why I keep thinking today's Tuesday.
Feels like a Tuesday. It really does. I don't know why.
I think it's because the week's going by so slow. It's like nothing going on.
There has been some weird events in the news, though, that popped up in like the last day or so. I was like really weirded out. But...
I found out today that Brian Laundrie had he wrote a confession right before he died.
Wait. Who was he?
He's the dude that killed well, they were like, well, where'd this chick disappeared, and they were trying to look for her and trying to figure out who killed her. And he was her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then he's dead. And everybody was like, well, did he kill him? Kill her?
Gabby Tatino, I think
Yeah.
was the name. Yeah. Yeah, that was a whole twisted case.
And then apparently it came out that he wrote a confession letter right before he died.
These are my confession.
Sector 1
That
is
was out of the line.
0.6 off the base.
But
Anyways, I digress. I got us off topic.
I digress. I know. Yeah, we can do that towards the end. So, basically, I don't even know where. Oh, I think. Okay, so the reason that cryogenics came up.
Yeah, I was wondering this when you asked me, like, you were like, we're gonna do an episode on cryonics, and I was like, I
Why
don't know
not?
anything about that shit, so okay.
Like, I didn't really either, but it was just
Sector
like
2 is 1.3 seconds off
I'd
the
fallen
base.
asleep to some movie the other night. I forget which one it was.
Yeah.
And then I woke up at the end, like after the credits, and excuse me, the next one that started coming on, and it was The Passenger with Chris Pratt.
Okay.
And I forget, like I didn't even watch the movie because I wound up just kind of turning off the TV and going to sleep. But
Yeah.
But I forget, they were heading off to some planet or whatever, and they had to be put into suspended animation.
Yeah, like a stasis kind of thing. Yeah.
Sleep. Yeah. And he woke up 90 years too early.
Oh, that's
And
fucked
it
up.
was just yeah, okay, and that like that's more towards the back end of this conversation about all
Oh,
that.
okay, yeah. We'll
But
circle back
that
to that.
freaks me out. You know what I mean? It's just like, damn. But then it got me thinking. Of course, it's like, how would any of this work in the first place? And it's like, because we have cryonics now, where if basically with that field of study,
Yeah.
what you're trying to do is you're either what was it, cooling down MRI machines. That's one of them. Like that, for liquid helium to keep them
Liquid
cool while they're
nitrogen,
doing
yeah.
that. See, I was reading helium.
Oh, interesting.
That's
You
very
probably
cool,
could
I
use
wouldn't
both,
doubt.
for sure, because
I
those
wouldn't doubt
elements
it.
are both pretty close together
Yeah.
on the periodic table, and I think the liquid types of those two are pretty similar. I think liquid helium is super cold when it's liquid, like way more than liquid nitrogen. But
Yeah,
anyways,
they have to be like way down there. But then,
right.
what was the other one? Oh, rocket fuel production as well. Liquid oxygen, stuff like that. It's all
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
all the same field of study. And then, at the same time, when you have
Sector 1 is 0.4 off the
there's all my
base.
deer meat. That's where it was. Okay, I haven't played in a while, like so. But then also when you have blood samples, tissue samples, stuff like that, they have to be cryonically
Yeah,
stored.
preserved.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
I was just like, okay, so then how does, it's like how we had Disney on Ice before Disney on Ice. It's like,
You're
how
second
do
off the base in Sector 2.
you go under? You know what I mean? It's like, so when I was reading into it is with the cryonic body storage, I guess is the best way to put it, because that's the only thing you can really do is store your body with it.
Yeah,
Right?
store your body or your brain.
You have to be legally dead.
Yeah, I read that too. That was crazy to me. But I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Right? Because that's, like,
Sector 3 is
that's where it's going to start getting sketchy. It's like, well, so-and-so was almost dead. And it's like, but, were they?
Right? Did they kill you to cryogenically freeze your body to reanimate you in the future,
So it's just like, what's going on there? But, which is even funny, like, because I was looking at it, and it's like $270,000 something just to try to be cryonically stored.
Well, that's why it's usually just rich people like Ted Williams.
Yeah.
I saw that the brothers that started PayPal are also going to be cryogenically frozen in the future.
Sector 2 is 1.1
and it's like,
off the
count
base.
me out, like, I don't want to do that.
Oh, really?
But,
I think I would.
in a way, but it's, yeah. I don't know. I guess that's for the morality part of it. But
Right.
I'm not saying it's like immoral, but yeah. I've already been here 36 years.
Right.
It's like I've seen it.
P3.
But
Sector 3 is
let's
0.4
see. What
off
else
the
was I
base.
having? But
Yeah. So I don't know if you.
also,
Go ahead.
No, you.
So I don't know if you read about it or not, but the way that they do that is called vitrification, because if you were to just standardly freeze your body, it would cause irreparable cell damage. So what they do is they pump you full of an antifreeze that keeps your body from like forming ice.
Yeah.
But there's a caveat to that, is the antifreeze that they use is also extremely toxic. So right now they're like, well, we don't really know how you're going to be reanimated or brought back to life or whatever. But this doesn't put ice on you.
Yeah, and so like that's what it was. Is they basically drain your blood because you're already dead, and so they have to start that process like right after you die.
Yeah, like immediately your shit starts to decay.
Yeah, and so it was just like they pump all your blood out while pumping that toxin in, basically that antifreeze. And then if I remember right, it's like you're flash frozen at that point too. Because if anytime like with frostbite, if you get frostbite, ice crystals form and just tear your cells apart.
Yeah, oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
why.
because it's the same
Yeah.
thing with like with
Sector 1
ice
is
or water
5
freezing inside of
kilometers.
like a cement or a rock, because the
Yeah.
ice expands
Expansion.
as it freezes, just rips everything apart.
I'm not fat. I
I'm
have ice
just
crystals.
frozen. But
Just a little
anyways,
extra
oh,
girth. But yeah. Yeah, I know. It was like, man, that sounds like a lot. And then they have to like, what is it? They pump that straight into your aorta, and
oh really?
uh,
I didn't know that. That's pretty interesting.
yeah, it's kind of metal, honestly.
Yeah, sounds like
When
it.
you go down that,
See,
and
that's why I
so
would do it.
you get you get flushed out, get all that crap pumped into you,
Hmm.
um, and then you get put into whatever tank that you're being stored in,
Sure.
which oddly enough is in Scottsdale, Arizona, is one of the
Yeah,
biggest ones.
I saw that too. So like what was interesting to me is there's a facility that stores you or facilities that store you.
Yeah.
And then there is facilities that actually do the freezing. And one of them is one of the facilities that does the freezing is actually here in Michigan.
Okay, did not know
Yeah,
that
and
one
so they
actually.
freeze you, and then they'll send you somewhere to be stored. And the biggest place in the United States is the storage place in Scottsdale,
Yeah, that's just
and that's like where Ted Williams is and shit like that. Like that's where like most American people are. And I saw there were like some other ones in Russia, and I think that's just the two big ones. Of course.
yeah. I didn't see the Russian one, but it's like at that point, do you even need all the extra
Well,
crap and jazz? It's like, hey, just
yeah,
just throw them outside on the back porch.
right. And the thing is like the thing I was reading about was sure you can be frozen and you can hope that the place that you're getting stored at is going to stay forever, but
That is
most
one of my big
businesses,
points.
yeah, most businesses go under anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And
the chances of you like you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to get frozen. I'm going to stay around for 1,000 years." I mean, the chances of that happening are probably pretty slim. Unless
yeah,
like they put you in space or something like that where it's always really fucking cold.
and that's another one of the paths I'm gonna go down
Oh
as
shit.
well.
All right.
I
I'm having all
know,
these
right?
big thoughts over here and you already know.
Big thoughts for a big forehead.
Mm,
Sorry,
look at
my
this.
bad.
It's a
It's
high.
okay.
It's high.
I was thinking
Yeah.
about that.
So
My forehead didn't used to be this big when we were a little bit younger, and I'm like,
right.
man, is my hairline pushing back? Like, but
Let's dive into it then.
all right. So the other part, did I burn my meat? No.
I
Ooh,
don't
I'm
know.
out
I
of
don't
time.
see your stream right now.
So the other part, uh, so this is the other part is the suspended animation part, right?
Mhm.
So this one's fun was because, and like I said, these all tie in, but that's fun because that is actually being used, and I think the first successful case was in 2016. So it's for trauma, basically
Yeah.
for gunshot or stab wounds, stuff like that.
Okay.
And so what they do is they get you in, and because this is something that where if you bleed out, you're done. That's it. So what they can do is they pump you full of super cold saline and basically bring your body temperature down to about 50 or 60 degrees,
Mhm.
which kind of puts you in a hibernation mode.
Yeah.
And they can do whatever they need to do without you losing all of this extra blood. Buys them about 2 hours before you critically bleed out, and then they can stitch you up, all that extra stuff. And so then, but this isn't because it's saline. It's not toxic like
Yeah, well cuz all it
actual
is salt
storage.
water. Yeah.
Yeah, and so then they, you know, once they've got you stitched up, all that, bring you back, and you're good to
Damn.
go.
So
And
it was successfully done. They did that actually?
yeah, yeah, I was reading about that, and I was like, that is just insane because that's where we are, like technology and thought wise. It's like, what really prompted you to think that okay, hey, let's super cool this guy real quick and take his. I mean, he kind of got to flush the blood out at that point, I would think, to put all that cold saline in.
Well, yeah, for sure. And I think they're
So,
most that industry is pretty good at flushing people's blood out because they have to preserve bodies with formaldehyde and things
right.
like that.
Well, this wasn't, but that one wasn't from uh, that said company. That or like those companies. This was like actual medical, doctors doing it. It wasn't the
Hmm.
cryogenic. So
Oh, okay, okay.
how
Like
that came to
like kind
be?
of like an emergency effort to
Uh-huh.
keep someone alive. Oh shit. All right.
Absolutely. And so yeah, they saved this guy's life, and
Damn, it's kind of
but that's
it's peaceful knowing that that option's on the table too should something happen.
right. So
Pit lane
I
speed limit is
that's
56
where
kilometers per hour. There's traffic
that's
approaching.
pretty
Watch
much
your
the only
mirrors.
place where it's gonna work, kind of thing, because
Like short
when
term
you
kind of thing.
yeah, because well, I mean for where we're at scientifically now, but because like with cryonic storing, um, you're facing the problem. Of course, I got the hiccups of drinking coffee. That's why. Because you're facing the problem of reanimation.
Well,
So
that's the thing though.
cool.
Like they don't really understand
Exit's clear. Push.
what realistically what that entails. Like a full complete reanimation. You
But
know.
how are you going to do that? Okay, so um, it's like you jumpstart the brain, like do you thaw it
Well,
out, you
the
get a
the
little bit of electrical
idea.
current.
So the idea, and this is kind of gets into like biopsych and things like that, is all of the all of the raw information to define someone's brain and by extension their personality and things like that is
Right?
the connective structure of your your brain makeup.
You mean like neurons, stuff like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah, because essentially your consciousness is the connections of neurons more than it is the
Yeah.
actual electricity going through because the
Leaders just passed.
electricity's not always there,
105.6.
yet your memories and things like that are always there. It's the synaptic connections between the neurons
Right?
that define who you are and what you are and things like that. And I think like the big thing is like, well, if we can capture that and maintain it, then all that information is always going to be there,
Yeah.
regardless. You know,
So,
didn't mean
or
to hijack that one.
oh no, that was perfect because there's the other thought, which is like some theory that's going on now, and that's uploading your brain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I wanted to actually get into this one because this kind of
There you go.
this shit makes me this shit's pretty interesting to me for sure.
Right? Because I mean, like that's that. Oh god, because see, that's all that stuff rolling into one. Because do you upload your brain and then let's say before you die,
The
like
leader
if
has
it got
just
to a
done
point where you were allowed to
104.8.
do this,
Hmm.
while you're still living.
Yeah,
Um, um, so do you upload your brain and then get stored and
hmm
basically just put your consciousness on hold up until hey, we cured your disease or
I think that's what a
whatever it is.
lot. That's what I think a lot of
Car behind.
people
Take care
uh,
rejoin him.
take from the idea of cryonics is
Right?
that when we figure out how to cure your disease, we'll reanimate you. But I think it goes a little bit farther than that, and I think that might be what you're, about to allude to.
Kind of. Because there's either that, there's either the dark in here. Man, sorry, I can't see. I can't see shit. Stevie Wonder right now. There's also the other part would be space travel,
Right. Yeah.
which brings in a whole other slew of problems along with that as well. So,
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. Not
but
even
it's
even like that brings in space travel brings into like in outside problems like time dilation and things like that, which is
which
almost a another stream on its own. You know.
yeah. But as far as that, okay, the time dilation,
Hmm.
I don't see being as big of a problem. Because I mean, unless you're
Unless you're
really
returning to
worried about
Earth.
reporting back here, yeah, which
Exactly. Yeah.
through all of that, you know,
I get that too.
all
I
that
see what
other
you're
stuff,
saying.
which is like, yeah, a whole other stream.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just so it's like, how do you keep power going for how long? It's like, so are we going to have the sufficient type of reactors that we need
Well,
to keep a ship with guidance computers and
yeah.
stasis?
Well, you have to
Um,
think. You have to look at it this way, and this is kind of where I was going to go with it. Is that technology is always moving forward.
right?
So you can assume, or maybe surmise, that technology will become advanced enough for us to have like a power source that doesn't go down,
Right.
or the ability to, because you got to think, if interstellar travel is possible, we
Mm-hmm.
have to overcome the hurdle of powering that interstellar travel, which
Yeah.
require the closer you get to the speed of light, the more energy is required to get there, to accelerate
Mm-hmm.
that far. Um, and that kind of makes me think too that, well, in the future, when all of this is possible, are you really
Yeah.
gonna want to? Are you really gonna want to come back as a human? Are you really gonna want to? Are you really gonna want them to reanimate your body, right? This
Right.
this very fragile living being, or are you gonna want to wait till there's a future where they can accurately map your brain because it's been preserved, everything is there, but then
Mm-hmm.
synthetically build it,
Mm-hmm.
and then your consciousness is there. I was thinking about that earlier today when I was reading about. So it's
Right.
the connectionist view of the brain. That what I was talking about earlier, where um, your entire being, everything about you, is defined by how your brain is. It itself.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
So I think that's an exciting thought to me. Is that, well, yeah, I mean, tech is moving forward fast, and it'll get faster and
Right.
faster, and then eventually one day we may be able to replicate a human brain. And I think that I think that is more. There's more of a chance for that happening than us reanimating a human. Period, because that is
Yeah.
almost borders on um, bringing the dead back to life.
Hey. No.
No,
Earlier
me or no the
rustling over a
dogs.
sock. No, the dogs. Of
So
course.
I don't know. I realistically, I think where we would be more able to harness um, our artificial tech than we would be able to reanimate something that's realistically completely out of our hands.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
didn't
Because
design humans. Evolution did over millions, thousands of millions of years.
yeah. Because I mean, it's at that point. Okay, so there was something. It was a theory, like a half-baked theory, right?
Right.
But one of those that just makes you think. Somebody said that basically, what if it's like when you die, um, you comprehend everything, right? Up until like the brain itself is destroyed.
Oh, so okay, like brain death kind of thing.
Yeah,
You're
and
aware
so
until like the last
until it's
second,
gone. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of rabbit.
Right.
Um, so I was like, okay, there's that, which could be something that could play into cryonics, but
Well,
I don't.
so the thing is like with cryonics, your brain needs you have to be uh, medically dead, and no, you have to be legally dead, sorry, and brain dead, which is
Yeah,
medically dead.
oh, I didn't
So
see the brain dead part.
you're cut, you know, you're
Hmm.
off completely when you go to be cryonically frozen.
Right?
And that actually I thought about that earlier today too, is that a lot of people will describe um, when they're put under is the countdown, you know, 10 to
Yeah.
1, and then lights out, and then immediately waking back up again. Like, because you're unconscious, time ceases to exist for you. You know, it's not like you're
Right.
dreaming where, because when you dream, you're still conscious. You know,
Yeah.
time ceases to exist for your being, and it made me think. Well, if you're cryogenically frozen and you go to die, do you just immediately open your eyes back up?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're
You don't
dead,
have to
you're
just
not
follow a
conscious, and
gate.
Yeah,
time stops for you. You
you would
know,
have to think, because I mean,
and I think that would be a really a hard thing for you to comprehend.
yeah.
If that actually happened to you, I think a lot of people would be like, yeah, I could do that. That that'd be fine. But waking up with no recollection of any time, and it could be like millions of years, would really fuck with you.
Which was one of the other points that I was going to bring up because it's okay. So let's just put it at let's go with the space travel thing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which brings in, like I was saying, like I keep saying, brings in all these different problems. It's
Well, I think it's realistically, I think it's an applicable problem though, or it's an applicable subject for cryonics because
absolutely,
we have to
it's
figure
that's
out a
the
way
next
to get
step.
around the universe
Yeah,
properly and within a human lifespan or
yeah, because
something other than that.
if we don't discover wormholes, you know what I mean, and
Yeah,
that we
or
can
some sort of pseudo faster
have
than
them,
light
yeah,
travel. Yeah,
because other than that, you have to be put under at that point, or else you're manning basically a space station and trying to breed generations with no problems for 1,000 years to reach, say, the closest,
sure.
galaxy.
Yeah.
But
Well,
so,
yeah, it's yeah.
but how much of this is gonna, like you get put under? Let's say this all work. Um, how much is that going to affect your mind? Because, like you said, it's just a snap of a finger, and you wake up and you're 1,034 years old,
Yeah.
and everybody you know's gone,
Hmm.
everybody's dead.
Well,
You're
yeah.
how far away from home? Yeah,
And here's another thought: is that fine, that happens, and you're cryogenically frozen, and then you wake up, or you're put into
yeah,
suspended animation, and you woke up, right? Well, I think the very essence of us as humans, as higher thinking beings, is the
right,
concept of time. You know,
big time.
our brains develop over time. We make memories over time. We learn
Mm-hmm.
things over time. So, like, having a giant swath of time that
Just missing.
doesn't exist in your mind
Yeah,
would be super trippy because like your brain's constantly your brain whether or not you want to uh, whether or not you're actively noticing your surroundings, your brain is noticing the surroundings and it's just
yeah,
picking and choosing the things that it wants to remember and doesn't remember. It's like a garbage collection kind of thing. But
right.
now you know that your brain hasn't done that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I really wonder if it would lead to scenarios where it's hard for your brain to make sense of things more so
Yeah,
than
so that's
like
what I figured. Just
yeah, more so than like, oh, I don't know about this, but I'm like talking about like make sense of things on like a fundamental level, you know.
right. And how does that not
Not
wind
a
up
not a he
driving you
doesn't know how to
crazy?
use the three seashells, but
Right.
something more than
You
that.
had a load of this guy. Ugh. Yeah. No, that's and oh man, like that was really screwing with me, and but that really, yeah, that was before we went on, I was thinking about that shit too. Was Demolition Man? It's like
Yeah, oh yeah.
you. But okay, so that was the other thing. Well, with them, what they were doing was, yeah, they were put under, but their minds were still active because they were being hyped with, information.
almost almost like they were sleeping kind of, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he was, like one of my favorite lines was he was like, "You put me under for 1,000 years, and you turned me into Betsy fucking Ross."
Right.
He's like, "Why am I knitting?" But like, yeah. So where, like, okay, so where's the humanity in that? Because
Mhm.
that's almost kind of like you're going beyond punishment to almost torture, which with Simon Phoenix that was understandable. I mean, he was kind of, you know,
Yeah.
eh, it's Wesley Snipes, um, but what if there, at the same time, is some sort of, I don't know, I want to say glitch or whatever that, say it is for space travel that you were awake. Kind of like when you get anesthesia, but those people who are awake for it, for the entire
Right.
surgery, because it
Yeah,
didn't
yeah, yeah.
actually knock them out. Holy
Well,
crap.
there is like a small subset of people where that happens to them, where they wake
Yeah.
up. But you
So,
you've come out of unconsciousness back into consciousness, you know.
yeah.
You're not under when you wake up under anesthesia, you're not under anesthesia anymore. You're conscious again. So,
Yeah. I mean,
could
yeah.
you imagine though? You're on a mission that they're like, oh, we're gonna go to this star that's 1,000 light years away. So
Right.
it takes over 1,000 years because you can't travel the speed of light, right?
Exactly.
Um, so you would die, obviously, right? Because
Hmm.
if you woke up in the middle of that space flight, and because human life isn't, that long, 1,000 years, so
Right.
you would live and die in like complete silence and
Oh,
uh, no interaction with people. You'd go insane and probably kill yourself, or probably kill the people that are, in stasis.
well, no. See, what I was thinking about that is it's like you're still frozen. Your body is, but your mind's awake.
Mm.
That was the twisted thing that I like.
Oh, that would
But,
be the worst. That's like that song
oof.
One by Metallica, where the dude's he's got his arms and his legs blown off and he can't communicate, so he's just living in this like eternal pain.
Oh,
Can't he? What is he? He can only blink, which is it was a book from World War One called Johnny Got His Gun,
ah, I see. I didn't know
where
that.
this dude got an
I didn't.
artillery shell near him and it blew his arms and legs off, and it like scarred his inside so he couldn't talk or anything like that. So he was just trapped inside of his head for the rest of his life, and he was
Jeez.
longing to die because it was the most miserable thing.
Right.
Get really morbid
Yeah,
on the
that's
stream.
what?
Get really morbid.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, that's kind of the point. I mean, that more morality of it, because well, yeah, because I was hitting about that movie, and he wakes up 90 years ahead of time
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
than he was supposed to. But
Mm.
okay, so well, I didn't finish the movie because I did something else and I went back to sleep. But there was that. What else was I hitting? Oh, okay. So then you've got these issues of, like I was saying, power source. So by that time, if we're traveling that far in space, I'm pretty sure
Yeah, if we have interstellar
that,
travel, we have a reliable
yeah.
means of power for something.
But you've got to remember, so unless this whatever ship we're using was constructed in space,
Right.
it's still got to be thin, aluminum, whatever. So what happens if you're under? You have CoreSat and some pretty advanced AI, but how are you going to know that you'll make it? Because let's say there's a shift in an asteroid field or something
Yeah, or like
that
even
you're
just
winding
space
up
dust that
flying right
slows you
through.
down.
Yeah.
You don't.
Um, yeah. And
You
so you
don't.
go
You have no
under
idea.
and you just never wake up. Is that morbid enough for you?
Yeah. Well, I mean
It's
that
like,
kind of like gets on to a more of like less of I think cryonics and more of suspended animation because you're still alive.
yeah. But see,
Cryonics is
that's the
more of
problem
like
too.
you've died and they're gonna bring you back to
Yeah.
life.
Because with suspended animation, you know what I mean? It's that the best we could do now
Hmm.
is a hibernative state. And I think that when I was reading that, you could, in theory, get about 2 weeks of a hibernative state for a human being
Well, dude,
uh,
I don't know if you read
before
it
we need.
when yeah. It was like 2 weeks. Uh, this Japanese dude like got lost in the wilderness in Japan, and I think he he lived without food and water for 2 weeks because his body entered like a suspended animation state, and
Like a
his
Zen,
core was I think like 76 degrees, which is super low, you know.
right? Jeez. I think I'm like trying to rack my brain. I feel like I read that somewhere,
Hmm.
but I'm just like not recalling it. But yeah. Mm. Which, I mean, okay, so uh, I, that would almost be possible in a way, like if you had, but now you're throwing in more moving parts to this machine
Right.
because okay, so let's keep with the space travel thing. So you have us in a hibernative state.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to come up every 2 weeks. Let's say you have IV for fluid and IV for food.
Okay.
Keep okay. So and like when I was watching Interstellar the other day, they weren't, excuse me, put into like a frozen state. It looks like they went into this saline-filled bag, basically, right?
Hmm.
And so they're surrounded by cold saline. Drop the core, and if you have some sort of sustenance, you could theoretically make it. But then at the same time, are your lines going to clog up for your food
Yeah,
or
and
water?
it's like it makes me think too. Like, you have to think of all the things that your body needs to survive, right?
Right. How do you
Oxygen.
deal with solid waste?
Oh shit! I didn't even. I don't think even movies really address that. You know
Oh, I
what
don't think
does
so.
is um the Matrix. The Matrix talk.
Oh
It.
yeah, that's
He's
right.
got like all sorts of pipes coming out. I think one of them's coming
Yeah,
out of his ass. Uh, but no, I did. Fuck, man,
that's funny.
I
That's
didn't
where
even
I
think
talk
about that
from.
at all.
Yeah, like yeah, because at the
Because
same
you are
time, like
making waste when you, if you
yeah,
eat,
no matter
drink,
what.
whatever, you know.
If you are so, if you were just put in a hibernative state,
Well,
you're
actually,
still producing waste.
I take it back because if you're put in a hibernative state, all of your cells, all of the cells in your body have ceased to metabolize, ceased to produce power, ceased to do anything, and all of the waste in our inside our bodies is there because our cells are doing what they do. You know, they're functioning the way they are, but all the function, all the cell functionality is stopped. So would you produce waste?
Well, yeah, because I mean, at that point, because that's what I was talking about earlier with that the surgery, where
Yeah.
they buy you a couple of hours. It's the same thing. Like you're not stopped. You're
The air
slowed
temp
down
is
because even
26 Celsius,
okay,
12
so like when
minutes
bears
for me
hibernate,
to get on with
Yeah.
this.
they form a mucus
Alright, Andrew,
plug, all
here
that
we
stuff.
go.
They're still producing waste. They're still,
Go, go, go!
but they're just using everything at such a lower
Yeah.
rate.
Well, but the thing is when a bear hibernates, its metabolism slows down, but it doesn't completely stop. But I think
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
if we get to put
On your
into
left.
stasis of some sort,
Still
our
heading on your
metabolisms
left.
will stop. Or
fair.
maybe they
Okay,
should. I don't
I
know.
see what you're saying.
You know.
You would think, but I mean, at that point,
Fuck, I
if
don't know though.
everything's
Maybe they don't.
stopped, you've hit cryonics
Yellow
instead
flag.
of suspended animation,
Right.
I guess, because like
Left side.
I'm talking about like a
Because
hibernative state.
technically,
That
I think if your metabolism stops, if all metabolic, everything stops, you're
yeah,
probably clinically dead
Good
by
start.
then, you know?
yeah. So it's like, how do you? Because you can't at that point, you wouldn't even really be able to keep brain function without oxygen and
No, you're right. There wouldn't. Well, there, yeah, and that's cryonics is there is you're not. There's no brain function
yeah.
at all, you know?
That was something I was thinking about. Like, how humane would it be? It's like, hey, you're on this space flight, and everything went wrong, and so like the last thing that you remember was just being put under. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
not
You got
the
behind
last
Martin.
seconds of life where you're getting taken out by
E9.
a grain of sand in space.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess that's the better
That's
thing that
yeah.
happens, you know? I, I mean, I guess you have to understand that that you going to sleep before interstellar travel might be like a that's a nice way out potentially.
Yeah. If all else fails, you're
At least
good.
you went to sleep, you know.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of that just sparked a memory and it went away,
Mm.
which is not uncommon with me.
No, we got to do a we need to do
Okay,
a
Andrew, 10 minutes to go. 10
stream on
minutes
like
left.
actual talking about interstellar travel or talking about like wormholes and things like that because
Yeah.
there's a lot to talk about there too. I like
Oh
touching
yeah,
on it
I
though
think
for
that's.
sure.
Well, you should probably stop touching yourself on camera.
Hey,
You.
hands
Hey.
are right here.
The leader has just done
Well, you know, like I
104.3.
said, government's still watching you. So But
8th place.
yeah, I mean, I think
That
that would
was
be
at
one where
105.4.
prepare for like
Sector 1 is
2
0.9
weeks.
off the
You
pace.
know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I would have to. I'd have to download Dead Space for that one.
See, I never did get to play that one, but I hear it's really
Oh,
great
man.
and pretty
Those
scary.
were awesome. Yeah, they were freaky and like kind of accurate too. Because it was funny. I remember one point, you know, fighting through the ship,
Yeah.
fighting these aliens, and then you go through a door and you enter a part of the ship that's been breached.
Right.
And even though you're wearing a helmet, there's literally no sound. They went that accurate.
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
And so you have like these alien things like floating at you and
Yeah.
just dead silent. What?
Well, I mean, that's, yeah, Dead Space, you know.
Exactly.
Car left.
So that freaks me.
Still there.
Yeah, it was like a, what? It was like a space horror game.
Yeah.
Which is interesting that I never played it because I really like horror movies and horror games and like Silent Hill and shit.
Right.
Left. Your last lap time
Yeah. See,
was
I like the suspense and all that. No,
Yeah.
like normally I don't do jump scare stuff because to me it's just kind of overdone.
Yeah. As long as I'm
Most
not
of it.
expecting it, I'm okay with it.
You know, but like over the years, you can, you know, they've gotten too predictable because of like the build and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, here it comes. Oh, I'm scared.
Yeah, well, that's just 21st century production companies that know that that as long as they do least common denominator, everyone will, you know, be happy. So
But, right.
not really. Horror movies really aren't made for us anymore per se. Some of them are. The Witch was a good one that just came out. Not just
didn't
came
see
out. It
that
came
one.
out a few years ago, but
And I think the one that, like I said, I like psychological. The one that screwed me up the most was Scream back in the day
the original.
He's still
when it
there.
first came out. Yeah, just because it was like it
Still
wasn't. Not that it was like so totally over the top scary and all that.
Mhm.
You know,
Still
because
there.
I've come up.
Clear left.
All right,
Just
I think the
done
last time that I had been that
104.9.
freaked out was Look Who's Talking 2, when that
I didn't see
toilet
it.
started talking in the beginning. Oh
Yeah.
man, dude, the kid's potty training and he freaks out because, yo, I wish you could see this. Give me my wallet. I got you. What? What is she doing? Heidi just came out of my bedroom with my wallet in her mouth.
That's funny. Hey, I don't know. I think you need this.
Right. I'm not going anywhere. Put your money where your mouth is. But yeah, so he's potty training and like he's freaked out by it.
Car left.
He's a
Right.
toddler, or baby.
Hold your line.
He goes
Oh,
into the
hey.
bathroom and all of a
Yeah,
sudden-
I know what you're
The
talking
toilet has
about. I
fangs
completely
and all
forgot
that.
about that shit. That's funny.
Dude, I was young and I was like, what the fuck? I was
Still
like,
there.
that could be real, and I was freaked out by the toilet for like a week.
Clear left.
You know? Like,
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then
Lap
like
was at
nothing really
105.5.
got me that bad after that, and I was always watching like
Car left. Clear
crazy
left.
over the top stuff with my mom, like in a way before I should have. Like I was,
Come on, Andrew. Good stuff. Keep it
I
going.
love it, like Event Horizon.
Right.
That was Sam Neill, such a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
You're halfway
But then
home.
Scream came
Fuel is
along, and
fine.
that's where I started learning about psychological thrillers.
Yeah,
and I was
because
like,
Scream was
holy
like,
crap, 'cause
Scream
this
was
can
like,
happen to
don't
me.
answer your fucking phone, you know?
Yeah. You know, and I'm like, so, and that was like back at the time too that I'd get up for school in the morning, and it's still dark out. Parents are already at work, and I'm like, fuck. You know
He's
what
gonna
I
get
mean?
me.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, it is pitch black outside.
Right.
This is, I think, a day or two after I watched the movie. So I kept like a big knife in the living room on the coffee table.
That's fucking funny. Yeah.
But and it was weird too because once I was outside
B7.
to go
The
walk
gap
to
in
the
front
bus
is
stop, I
increased
felt
to
fine.
2.5 seconds.
Oh yeah,
You know,
once
it's
you
like-
were like near other
I'm not
people,
trapped.
you know?
Yeah. Well, I still had a little bit of a stretch because I had to walk up to Tom and Troy's house.
Yeah.
To meet them and then go up.
Well, if
Uh,
anything, the bus
Five
driver will
minutes.
obviously fight for you, you know?
Yeah. Right.
I think if there's anybody in the world that's gonna fight for those kids, it's a fucking bus driver. Even
Oh,
if they're an
not our bus
asshole.
driver.
Oh, really? Mine was
Oh,
mean,
no.
but at the same time, I was like, she'll fuck people. She'll fuck somebody up.
We had the Chris Farley version of a woman, you know,
Yeah.
And I have coffee. So basically, this woman was mean all the time.
Just angry, just a.
She just hated life. You know what I mean? Like this is Prescott Valley back in the day,
Right.
and like this is the culmination of all the decisions she made. Is like driving some badass kids to school.
0.5.
These
I think she was
goddamn
just-
kids.
right?
How
Just
did I get this
frothing at the
job?
mouth. And I think that like it was that she was just always a bitter person. I think. And
Okay.
there was only like a couple days out of the year that she was really nice. So like whatever. So
The gap to
no, she wouldn't have
behind is
stepped in
now
for us.
2.4
But
seconds.
finally it got bad. I think did I get suspended off the bus? Well, I've been suspended off the bus quite a few times. Let's put it that way. But
I got suspended
no,
off the bus one time for not doing what I was doing, what they said I was doing.
yeah, that was always fun. Happened a lot.
Yeah.
But so oh, that's what it was. Okay, so we switched from her because we went from 8th grade to high school.
Oh, okay.
And so we had a new bus route, bus driver. No problems from us, like the kids of us that, you know, graduated and went on to high school and whatnot. And then, so I guess the kids that were younger than us just got worse and worse until she finally snapped and, like, quit.
Yeah.
So she either quit or requested a new route, right?
Right.
And, and then the kids, I guess, were, like, all angels after that, after she was gone.
Oh wow. I know that
Yeah,
like
that's-
that generation did get like shitty after us. When I
Well, no, but,
graduated
like,
with
they were,
The gap in front is increasing.
They
I
were
graduated
fine.
with like
3.9
200 people,
seconds.
and then the freshmen that came in when I graduated had like 1,500 kids. So yeah,
jeez.
they were fucking. I'm sure they were wild.
Is catching.
These kids weren't actually too bad. I think they would have been like a year or two younger than us, so it wasn't that
Hmm.
big of a difference. I tend to think. But it was just enough to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I knew if something popped out to get me that bus driver into it, she's gonna pop a Newport in the mouth and
Our bus driver,
drop it
she
in and
was
leave.
we were leaving the school, and we had to turn on like this super. It wasn't a right angle turn; it was like a acute angle. And she cut the corner too close, and we drove into the ditch and tipped over. I was like I was probably in 10th grade, and it was
Yes.
awesome. It was the day that the bus driver crashed the bus, and we had like the emergency people came, and we had to get our parents to come pick us up. It was fucking crazy.
Did they keep their job?
She did, surprisingly.
Wow.
And then another thing I remember is she drove the bus really sick one day, and pulled the bus over to the side of the road and threw up all over the place.
In the bus or like off the bus?
I know, she got out.
I
I was like, what the fuck?
Yak.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
yakking all over the place. She was like the mom to one of the people that were on the bus.
Yeah,
One more lap, baby. Sixth place.
you're gonna crash.
I almost did. I let go of the steering wheel and almost crashed.
One more lap to
Oof,
go.
Samir.
2 is 0.7 off the pace.
Yeah, you're breaking the car. All right, I
New
guess I have to
fastest lap for
bunker down here for the night. There's no
103.7.
door. Can't start a fire either. I'm telling you this. I can't run because I'm tired. This survival mode is.
Are you talking about yourself,
complete.
or are you talking about the person in the game?
The game?
Oh.
I have no tinder to start a fire, and I used all of my tinder for a potbelly stove that wouldn't light.
Oh, here's an interesting story. We were working at Sandbar, right? And it was late night, and a table was like, "Hey, do you know what Tinder is?" And I said, "That shit that you used to make a fire?" And they said, "Yeah." And it was right at the time when Tinder came out, and I was like, "Those fucking people." And it didn't occur to me till later that those people were asking me if I knew what the app was, and I still had no fucking idea.
Right.
Now I feel like an idiot.
I can say that I successfully have never downloaded that app.
Oh, I haven't either. I haven't done any of them.
Watch out.
Oh.
P7.
I go,
That's
well,
the end of
I
the
don't do
race.
it.
I
Never
missed. Oh man, I lost 1 iRating.
Yeah. Oh, that was another fun one. Was I used to hang out with like Jen and the other Andrew and
The
some of those
alcoholic.
kids. Yeah.
Yes.
I think he cleaned up, but we would always go to Jen's place and hang out and watch Netflix. And this is like when Netflix is really first gaining popularity with the
Right.
streaming.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, we'd all go over there and chill. And like, she was like, basically just a couple doors down from me. And I remember there was
I
one
remember that.
time, yeah, Dre was giving me a ride home. And I was like, yeah, I was like, well, a lot of times we'll chill at the bar for a bit, and we'll, go back to Jen's place, and we'll all, like just watch comedy specials and stuff on Netflix and hang out. So I guess, sometimes you just come and Netflix and chill. And she's like, yeah, that's cool. And then like that week was like when Netflix and chill caught on as a sexual connotation, and I was like, no, that's not what I meant. Like, no, I'm not. I wasn't telling you. Like,
Yeah.
God, I
Yeah,
hate
for
that.
sure.
Like, I was not trying to tell you I'm trying to hook up with you. Like,
But
oh, weird time. But
that was such a weird place to be.
yeah.
Because Nick
Oh,
Marconi lived over there.
nice.
AJ lived there.
Yeah, AJ was just downstairs from me.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool because I'd go down there and play.
Yeah,
What do you
get on
call that?
iRacing.
Well, a couple times. I didn't really play iRacing with him much, but we would put the projector on, play baseball and stuff on the wall. I cannot light a single fucking fire. This is. But no.
Oh, like
Okay,
the show?
so what?
Like the show?
Yeah, Lord
MLB
of
the show? Yeah, yeah.
all that stuff. Madden, whatnot. Like games were just so awesome when you're playing them on higher wall. But speaking of Scottsdale, right? Okay,
Mhm.
so this is gonna blow your mind. This was the piece of news that I found today. Um, and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me that this happened." So the Satanic Temple, right?
Yeah.
And so for anybody that doesn't know about the Satanic Temple, they don't actually worship Satan. That's the Church of Satan, I believe, right? The Satanic Temple is just an
It's just there as
alternative.
yeah, it's almost like a troll.
Yeah, they're a thorn in the side of faith, and what they fight for is, I mean, they are really good people,
Yeah.
but they also fight for separation of church and state, stuff like that, and yeah,
Yeah, that's
so
kind of the idea is that it's a direct rebuttal against the absurdity of the Christian church.
yeah,
More so
well,
than it
not, yeah,
is none of them worship the devil. None of them even believe in the devil.
no,
Satanists are atheist people.
yeah, and so they had something called SatanCon,
Yeah.
and this was in Scottsdale, right? And so I forget the name of the hotel, but it was South Scottsdale because it was somewhere down around Indian School Road, right?
Uh
So they have SatanCon, and of
damn,
course
I
the
want to go to that. That
protesters,
sounds
right?
awesome.
Because I mean, like they are really nice, and really, like if you guys don't know anything about them, they really do like good works for kids, stuff like that. They're
Yeah,
really
yeah,
good
yeah.
charity. They are the epitome of what Christianity is actually supposed to take that from somebody who's gone to church for years, blah blah blah. So Catholics show up to protest, right? Um,
Yeah.
and they're like I guess across the street from the hotel protesting them for the entire couple days, whatever.
Right.
But um, then the Protestants show up to protest, and then they start getting in fights with the Catholics over ideology, and the cops had to come deal with the Christian protesters, and everybody at the hotel were like, these Satanists were really nice the entire time they were here. And it was like the
Yeah.
entire debacle was that they were being nice and that they were well behaved and they were good. And then all the other people that were saying that they were bringing all these problems
They're
and
kind
all
of
this violence.
it's kind of like
Yeah.
calling out Christians for being unchristian like, you know?
Yeah. So, like, hello, this is the.
This is Kettle calling the pot.
You're black. Damn it. Fire is still not lighting, and I am out of water. So
Yeah,
I
what the fuck are
can't
you
smell.
doing?
Dude, I'm telling you, survival mode is a whole different beast. I don't have any accelerant to make Oh, Doyle, you and your entire yeah, so there was some other wacky stuff that I saw, like in a very like Harry Potter moment. There
Right.
was the police have been looking for this little girl for a while. I can't remember if it was 2 weeks or 2 months, but it's been a minute, right?
Yeah.
And it is it's a what do you call that? Custody case, right?
Okay.
So um so they show up at the house of the parents and they're like, yeah, well, she's been missing this and that. And so the cops are hanging out in the house. They're going upstairs, downstairs, looking all over for this girl. And the detectives were like, well, we're staying here
Mhm.
because something doesn't feel right. And they're
Yeah,
like,
something's not adding up here.
something's off, right?
Right.
And then so finally, I guess one of the detectives is sitting there and he's looking at the stairs and he goes, I won't like, um, he basically goes like, there's something wrong with these stairs. You know, and he's like, okay, so
Yeah. I know where you're going with this. I think I
pop the
saw what you're
stair
talking
off,
about.
and the girl was under
Yeah, yeah.
under the stairs with her mom, I guess.
And she had
And
been
it's
there
like,
for like
Limit
a
is
long
what?
time.
kilometers per hour.
Oh, I'm sure that they had been coming in and out, and it was like, because that's what they were bringing up was like, there's no way that she was in that damp, dank little space the entire time.
Yeah, it was
And
like
it's
wet
like,
and shit under there.
yeah, and so it's
Yeah.
like, how do you get this? Like, what did you sell to this little girl to say, hey, the cops are the bad guys, and you need to be quiet so they don't come and take you away from them? You know, like that's basically I think what would have had to run the course there, and it was like very Harry Potter.
Harry Potter or that I can't remember what the name of that movie is, but it's like based on a true story and it's like a this dad locks his daughter in the basement and it's like the daughter's entire life and like she has 2 kids with him and shit like that.
That was you're
Remember
talking
that?
about a movie because that was a true story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was just saying. Yeah.
Amy Smart. Amy
Yeah,
Smart.
yeah. But it was just on TV, or not on TV. It was like
Wow.
a made-for-TV movie.
I've never seen the movie, but you know, like I've read about that story, and that is just oof,
The movie's fucked up.
bad.
Came out
I
maybe a
would-
year or two ago.
Yeah, that was just nuts.
Right.
Yeah, because there was another one that was I was reading something about how they because it's always out of like the worst type of shit that we find out or we learn about um, ourselves, our bodies, our development,
Yeah.
whatever. And there was one that they what helped them discover speech patterns, how we learn speech and stuff like that was because of the fact that there was a girl that her dad had locked her basically in the basement or somewhere for 13 years. And so she never developed speech or anything like
Right.
that because she wasn't talking or taught to.
Yeah.
And so they got to do this whole study from her.
There's
Well,
I think her name was
found it.
Nell.
Was
there,
that her?
Yeah, there was that movie with
I
Jodie
thought that
Foster
was
in it.
something different. Yeah, I remember that. I thought it was something different.
Yeah, she like didn't develop human speech or even like the ability to, because we humans we rely a lot on like implication or abstract thought, you know,
Yeah.
and she didn't develop that at all. Because there's more to human speech than just
Oh.
words, you
No,
know.
that was a different. Okay, that was a different story. So she lived
Oh.
with her mom in like this rural cabin,
B2.
and her mom died, and so she was like basically a feral child.
Oh yeah.
That was Nell, but
Those
this
are-
one was like straight up abused. Her dad like locked her
Oh,
in the
okay.
basement. So it's like an even worse story.
Right.
So at
Yeah.
least with Nell, I think because I remember she, you know, her mom was alive for a bit, you know, raising her obviously, but
Right.
um, But yeah, no, this girl that was, oh god, yeah, that's all. You know, like it shows you everything about like how we need the you know stimulation and yeah, stuff.
Yeah, I think our brains are developing. Our developing brains require a lot, you know, context and repetition and things like that. And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't get that, your brain is fucked. You know, it's
Yeah.
so complex that in order to teach it, you have to teach it with really complex things that have to happen, you know, at a specific time because that
Mm-hmm.
window is so small.
Right. Which I guess that was another
Your quickest overall.
another thing that was
lap
coming
time
up.
was
Okay, this is what sucks
1:15.4.
is you know I have to keep the lights on so you can see me on the screen,
Oh yeah,
but the screen is black, so I can't see.
I see it.
But yeah, I guess that was something I don't want to say CDC, but might have been CDC. But you know, like the development part, brain development and stuff like that kind of department, they were.
Yeah.
I guess it was some sort of controversy because you know, like those different milestones, like we're talking about, are kind of being shuffled around, and they're like addressing certain different things with it, and people were getting upset. And it's like, you know, like these studies that we have, I mean, like everything that we have is uh, not always absolute.
No.
So, you know, like whereas, um, you know, some kid might start talking early, some kid might start talking late. I guess this woman was saying that her kid didn't start walking until they were like 3 or something like
I mean,
that. But
my brother didn't start talking really talking until maybe 2 or so.
yeah,
But he's perfectly fine now, you know.
Sector 3 time is
I bet your
fastest.
parents were really upset when you started talking though.
Didn't shut the fuck up.
Why doesn't he stop?
Right.
My family. Hey, Chris, you gonna try shutting up anytime? Nope, no.
Well, it's just not in my wheelhouse. 34 years old. I'm not shutting up now.
Sector 1 is quick.
Good luck silencing.
Oh.
Not you, government. I'm talking about my family.
Not you, NSA, in the webcam.
Right. We gotta stop making that joke because we're gonna make somebody very paranoid.
We're gonna get a letter in the mail that just
Hey,
says
guys.
shh.
Cease and desist. Stop it. Hey, Mitch, cut it out. Oh.
Sector 2 is 0.5 off the pace.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I guess that they're reevaluating these milestones and everything, which will lead me to another point here in a second because and so it's getting people upset. But the way somebody else had put it, and what I was thinking as well, is like at least they're addressing it and like there's thought being put into it,
Yeah.
rather than just sticking with it and saying, okay, this is what it is, this is what it's always going to be. You know, it's like
Sector
if
3
you're
time
not
is okay.
if you're not walking by, you know, 1, which I mean, Boog was basically walking when he was at 9 months, 8
Yeah.
months, you know, and other kids weren't. You know, and then there were, in a way, like worries. You know, his hearing loss, but there were
Which-
worries about talking, and
Yeah.
then now he doesn't stop talking.
Oh, he also has a hearing problem though too, so like it's a little different.
Yeah, but you know, but as soon as he grabbed it, he was gone.
Yeah,
You know
I think
what mean?
the whole idea is trying to give a baseline, you know?
Yeah.
Whether or not it's specifically geared to your child is a little bit different.
Mhm.
However, you know, this is the baseline where because I had a really interesting psychology
Leader has
teacher
just done a
freshman year, and he said that
114.2.
there is a normal. You know, people like to say
Right.
that, oh, everybody's special. There's no such thing as normal. But he's like, let me tell you, there is a normal. You know,
Yeah.
and I think that's the
There's
whole
a
idea behind that.
baseline.
That
Yes.
there is a
Yeah.
baseline, and that if you're as long as you're near it, fine,
He
whatever.
did. Yeah.
P2. That's your best lap in this.
And
Yeah,
that
and
is
it was,
definitely how statistics
Sector
works
3
too.
time is
You
quick.
know.
Going. Right. And did I just double back? Oh man.
What what
I'm
you
lost
don't
for
see
words.
the whole map until you've
No.
explored it?
Oh, I was. No, it's even worse than that.
Sector
Okay,
1
so
is
like in
0.7 off the base.
the story part of the game,
Yeah.
you have the whole map. Like somebody will give you the map, or you find the map on the wall, whatever. In this, what you have to do during daylight hours only. If I try it right now, it's not going to work. I don't think. You have to. Yep, cannot map in low visibility conditions. You
That's
have to take
fucked.
charcoal after your fire has burned out. You have to grab the
Sector 2
charcoal
is
out of it, and then you
0.7
have to draw
off the
your own
base.
damn map.
Damn, they really did think of everything in this one.
Yeah. And so once these clothes that I have, once they're done, I have to stitch my own clothes together, right? So on top of that, I have 3 deer hides and 2 rabbit hides in this cabin I'm staying in back here, curing, because they have to cure for 4 days indoors
The lap time was at
before you can use them to make
1:15.3.
clothes.
You're like a little house on the prairie out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Ah,
That's fucked up.
Petticoat Junction. That, no, I don't know. I don't remember that shit. No, read it. But yeah, okay. So the other point, before I forget it, was
Yeah.
that
Oh, and I got another point too.
so the whole brain development doesn't reach actual maturity, or full maturity, I should say,
Until
you're
like 25.
30.
Oh shit.
30.
I thought it was
Yeah.
already, man.
And I started thinking back on it, and it was just like, well, that's kind of funny because like not long after I turned 30, like
Sector
so
2
many
is
things
0.3
became
off
clear.
the base.
You know
Yeah,
what I
shit
mean?
starts like making sense, and
really
you're like,
making sense.
yeah. Mhm.
And that's why also, like how we have the Smash Mouth going on. You know, the years start coming and they don't
Yeah.
stop coming, and it's just like, holy crap! It is now February 2022. What happened? It's
Mhm.
because we have the full perception of time now, like the proper perception of
That's your
it. And
quickest
so
lap in this
we
session.
had nothing when we were, let's say,
63
in
times
school
fast.
years to base it off of. So school drug on.
Right.
You know, one school year felt like 3 years in a way, kind of thing. You know.
Mhm.
But now, one solid year just.
Well, it's
goes by
because
like
back
last week.
then, 1 year was a longer part of your life than it is now.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
you had nothing to
1/15 of
compare
your
it to.
life instead of
Half your
1/34 of your life, you know.
Right? It just blows my mind to think that, you know, it's like that's why we wind up coming to be like who we are as a person, even more as with, you know, when we're 30. Like the whole development of I think it was the frontal cortex finally done.
That's the last one, yeah.
Sector 2 is
Yeah, and then
0.5
like that's
off the
why
base.
we become less risk takers. We seem boring and blah blah blah. And it's like, no, it's because we know better now.
We have that self-preservation that you didn't have back then.
Yeah. Right. That's interesting. But before you forget, what was your thing?
I was gonna talk about it when we were talking about the
Was at
cryonics.
115.7.
The well, I told you, like, how realistic is it that a lab is gonna be around for 1,000 years? You know.
Oh, I know.
But there's this so there are four cryonics labs
Sector 1
before
is 1.1
1974,
seconds off the base.
and only one of them still has their bodies frozen.
Oh.
So the other
No.
two were they thawed and disposed of the bodies. So like, I mean,
So imagine.
that's what, 40 years, you know? That's nothing.
Yeah.
P2.
Right. And you're expecting
Sector 2 is 0.3
1,000.
off the base.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that was another thing I was thinking. Like, you know, one thing goes wrong, like, you know, we're talking about power, or the business goes under, which makes me wonder because, like, yeah, like I was saying, that's $280,000 to have your body preserved, and if you paid that company and then you're just disposed of in the end.
It's weird. It's
What
weird
was
that
it
there's
worth?
like there isn't a clause or anything, but like,
Sector 3 is
you
0.3
there's
off
not
the
many
base.
laws in terms of what happens with your dead body. It just can't be
Right.
violated or anything like that. But anything else, you know, even like in countries like France and stuff, cryogenically freezing your body isn't considered a legal way of disposing of a body. So like no one does that stuff there, because if you did, they would just thaw you out and then just cremate you or whatever.
I never knew that.
It's fucked up.
That reminds me of that story where the dude donated his mom's body to science for the study of Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
That scientific lab sold it off to the military and they used it in a blast
Oh,
test.
I remember that. I remember hearing about that shit. That's fucked.
I would be making the government pay me some money on that one.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe that, you know, maybe the military didn't know. You know, like that was the deal. Like, hey, here's my mom's body. That way you can study, you know, the effects of Alzheimer's. And then all of a sudden she's a blast test. You know, it's like, so did they take the brain and then they're like, oh, well, here's the rest of the body. We don't need that.
Oh, maybe they did.
But it's still a pretty fucky situation.
It's pretty sketchy. It's an
all
asshole
right, well,
situation.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. You talk to the kids.
Oh.
14.8. If it exit looks clear.
All right.
Yep.
Yep. It also makes me kind of wonder too, like with like Walt Disney.
Yeah, he was cryogenically frozen too.
Yeah, and I like the Family Guy take on it. Like when they bring him back, like, hey, Walt, you know, you're alive again. Are all the Jews gone?
Yeah. Yeah,
It's like,
because he
is
was a
he
big
gonna,
old piece
like-
of shit.
Exactly. Is he gonna? Well, like him and fucking Henry Ford.
Right.
You know, I was like, would they come back and still be that big bag of douche? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Because your brain is still there.
It's still there, but you know, it's like, what do you think that he would eventually learn to not be that? I don't know. I was like, do you even really want to bring him back at that point? And, God, could you imagine him coming back and seeing like
Okay, so here's this then.
what Disney's turned into?
You have some dictator, right, or just a bad person, period. Cryogenically freezes himself. 1,000 years later, you know, you're reading in textbooks and shit. This person's a horrible person. Do you cryogenically thaw him, or do you just kill him? It's a good premise for a movie.
There's the morality of it, right? Yeah, I mean, yes. Well,
I think you're morally obligated to not.
in a way, but to not destroy him.
No, to destroy him, to not thaw him out.
Well, but oh yeah, to just leave him, because then I mean you're taking the non-reactionary, you know, kind of approach to it, because I mean if you think about it, if you wanted to kill him, you, by our standards and all technicality, trying to do that one here, you would have to thaw him and have a trial.
That is true.
To be morally
You could do that, I guess.
in the right on that. But
judicially,
yeah, are you running the risk of bringing him back and then having that trial fail?
Yeah.
Even though he's a monster, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, ugh.
Sounds pretty awesome.
Great, cool. I'm gonna be up all night thinking about that. But or just leave them. Don't touch it. Don't do anything. You know, and it's like, I think that would be it. Is just take that approach.
Sight unseen kind of thing.
You know what? We'll just go ahead and leave them in for another 100 years, and basically what you're doing is, like, this is 3 generations down the line. Probably.
Yeah, it sounds like what we're doing with with global warming right now. We're just kicking it down the road a little bit.
Yeah,
We'll see what they can do in 100 years.
Which is so stupid. We could have had electric cars in the 40s with no controversy.
Yeah, but those big automakers have a lot of money.
Yep.
And politicians love to be bought.
Absolutely. That's the thing. But I kind of like seeing the push that we have now of where people are becoming more aware of it. And that it's so funny that, this was actually something I was reading the other day as well, was that there are more fires per year from gas vehicles than electric vehicles.
Sure. There's also way more deaths per year from coal emissions in the air giving you black lung and shit than there ever have been with nuclear power, you know.
Right? I think with nuclear, it's all you gotta do is just figure out how to
dispose of it. Yeah, that's the big one.
Shoot it in space.
Could you imagine having like a rocket that's just laden down with nuclear material and it explodes? You know?
Oh,
so that's the reason why they don't do that, is because the risk is too high of an accident happening.
Yeah, that is a great.
Because then you just have just essentially not a nuclear bomb, but something that has nuclear radiation. You know,
it's just gonna be fallout everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's a dirty bomb.
Kind of, it won't explode the way there's no spent nuclear fuel, so there's like no reaction like you would get in a nuclear bomb, but still,
I think
you still
that
put
is
radiation everywhere.
P5, you're currently
I think that is a dirty bomb, right? Where it's already spent fuel.
Oh, is that what it is? I thought a dirty bomb was just like a bomb that fell accidentally.
Turns out to be into Pigpen from Charlie Brown. Dirty bomb.
He does kind of look like just like a bomb.
That's a stretch. Yeah, no, it's spent fuel.
Yeah.
So you have the bomb explodes, so it's not going to be the same destructive. Yes, that's it. That might be what he was singing about. Boy. Yeah, so like instead of having the nuclear reaction that causes that big devastation,
yeah,
you're just irradiating a place.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Which is horrible too, you know.
Oh yeah. Because you're still screwing that place up for how long?
A life.
Well, yeah. Well, our lives, like whatever the half-life is left on that material that you dropped on them. I might actually be able to make some deer skin. What's up?
Did you ever make that fire?
Yeah. Yeah, I had to keep going and chopping down wood. I almost got hypothermia trying to get a fire started.
Nice.
Beautiful. Great.
Hypothermia is the best thermia.
What? Okay, so I can have an improvised. I still haven't seen a moose.
You can kill them in this game?
Yeah.
Nice.
They weren't in the oh cool. 3 rabbit pelts. They weren't in the story, but they are apparently in survival, but I think I have to venture over to a different part of the map. But to do that, I need to make sure that I am set up enough to where I can actually go venture out, not freeze to death. I need 4 guts. I need to get all up in them guts.
All up in them guts.
Oh, yeah, and to stitch the clothes together, you need cured guts. You have it, Nickelodeon guts.
Do you have it, guts?
Novice. Hey, look at that.
Mike O'Malley and Mo.
Yeah. I wanted to be on that show so bad when I
Me
was a
too,
kid.
man. I wanted to be on that show strictly because I wanted one of those uh, aggro crag trophies that you would get at the very end, the glow in the dark
Yeah.
ones. I saw a long time ago that one was for sale on eBay.
Oh, God, could you imagine? It's so amazing. I wonder who gave it up though.
I
You know,
don't
it's
know.
like, why would you? Well, my mom's making me do it. Try to read it. Try to read it. Read
Oh,
it.
I guess
Wasn't.
nobody took. Not many people took one home. It was usually just medals.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at me. I'm Texas. I'm gonna burn books.
Fuck, I wish they don't do any of the they don't do any of the game shows anymore, right?
I don't think so. I
Nickelodeon.
mean, I haven't watched anything on there in years.
What would you do? Guts, Wild and Crazy Kids, Nick
Uh,
Arcade. Remember that one?
yeah.
Nick Arcade was my jam.
Um. I, I want to see. I think you can stream some of that stuff somewhere.
Oh
I
yeah, for
remember
sure.
not. Like some of it's gotten to a point where it's kind of vague. But it's like I'd like to watch like a couple of episodes of those again.
Yeah,
And then, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
dude, that's my jam. That show
Yeah, well,
scared the
we got
shit
some
out of me as a kid.
Snick years. Those are pretty good.
That was the last show on Snick every night, 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Drop your back.
All right. I could figure out what I was doing. Last time, so I could sleep through the night. Then, water. And then, firewood. Ooh. I hope I have enough wood to make it through the night. Really gonna suck if I don't. Well, 5 hours, I'm good.
The track temperature's decreasing. It's now 26 Celsius.
Jeez.
Jeez Louise.
I didn't know you would come back, and so all I heard was that thump. Scared the crap out of me.
Nice.
Perfect.
Shoved my face full of food.
There you go. Yeah, you missed it. I sprained my ankle while you were gone, and I had to
Nice.
use a bandage. No, definitely wasn't. Ah, man.
Well, we had 31 viewers on the stream.
Hey, I wonder how weird they thought we were.
Probably super weird. One was Megan.
Oh, great. We shouldn't have said all that stuff about her then.
I know.
I have not found any bullets, which is not going to help me for hunting. That piss me off.
Well, I think this is a successful stream number 1.
Well, yeah. All technicality, we still have about a half an hour on it, but
Cut it, and then
we could
we'll rejoin.
Yeah, just cut it.
Reconvene
and
on
just go back to the party.
Tuesday.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I'll come up with some other topics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that sounds good to me, man. I didn't really have anything else to add. I mean, we hit that.
I think we nailed it all.
Yeah, I mean, every single part of what we wanted to talk about with it,
Mhm.
and then the other little bits of crap that was going on in the world.
Right.
All right. Well, I guess that is that then, and then
See you later.